Udlula Skhwasa Dimal. Apostrophe. I would say apostrophe. That's why we hear that the good schools, multiracial.
And whenever I would inquire of this person, they said something which really, it was funny. It's funny now, but back then it really stung. The individual said, no, Joyous Celebration is no longer looking for, they're trying to decrease hiring or getting abantu abatyebileyo.
Hey.
You know, to be part of the choir.
Yeah.
And that was not true.
Of saving 100%.
It should not be the basis of us saying that we are not going to do this because of. Yeah, well, we need to be able to acknowledge that it's an experience that we've had and it's not right. But it shouldn't change our heart towards God. It shouldn't change our heart toward what God says and what God's word says concerning service.
Hey, Joyous 16.
Yeah.
Is where I said, Konje, what song did you do?
Ikerupi.
Ikerupi,
And Oh, I Trust.
I was like, hey, there's something here.
Most people actually
Yeah.
were like, wait, who is that?
Yes.
On Joyous 16.
16, yes.
I had a big phobia when I first started with Joyous Celebration. I never wanted to fall on stage. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't want, it became a thing.
Yeah.
Like an anxiety thing where I'd just constantly be like, Unathi, do not fall. Whatever you do, don't fall on stage. And it happened. It's like first recording, it happened. I fell on stage.
Fell.
I fell.
Njani. Our ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us once again. And as you can see, it's still here. Our new award is going to sit here until the next one keeps it company. So we'd like to, again, thank you to all the gospel artists, to everyone that supports us. Please keep supporting us. And don't forget, we are the Gospel Reality Podcast. Look for us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Gospel Reality Podcast. Hey, I nearly forgot the name of our show now. But ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, today we've got a dynamite in studio. And when I say dynamite, I'm saying out of the ordinary dynamite, you know. We've got a gentleman that it's the first time I meet him. I've always seen his songs and I was like, who is this guy? I'd like to have a conversation with him. And I was not really sure what kind of person he is, because on TV, you know, you see these people on TV, they look very serious. And he gets here and he's such a lovely man. But ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome Unathi Mzekeli.
Alala.
Siaka
Unathi Mzekeli,
ne?
yes.
And then chicks ubiabi?
Well, igama likaNkosi Nathi, for example, in Zulu, ne? That's the full name, umuntu uzombiza Nathi, ne? So
Nkosi Nathi.
in Xhosa, instead of saying Nkosi Inathi, it's Thixo
Unathi.
So you apostrophize that and say Thixo Nathi.
Ne?
Yes, so that's the full name, Ka Unathi. It's Thixo Nathi Emmanuel, God with us.
And today we've got David, a man who came
After
to say...
God's
Yes.
own heart.
David, udlula Skhwasa Dimal. Apostrophe. I would say apostrophe. That's why we hear that the good schools, multiracial. Because
I took interest in English.
Ne?
Yeah, because I had an embarrassing moment
Ne?
when I first went into an English
We'll
school.
go there.
Okay, that's fine.
We know about that one. We know about that one. So this man, ufundile, ne? Ufundile. So he's very well learned. So I'm very happy. But my brother, I'm so happy that you made it.
Thank you for having me, sir.
I was told you are punctual.
Wow.
And you were on time. I was telling this man, hey, Baba, let's go. This man will be here anytime now. And they told me one person, I'm not gonna say one person, TK Goodman said to me, that's a cool dude, very funny. I can sense the humor now. You've not said anything, but yeah.
Hey, Utiki, okay.
And then you come from a family of musicians, right?
Yes.
Do you think you're the best singer in the family?
I don't think I'm the best singer in the family. I'm the one who walked by faith.
Oh.
I'm the one who decided to I owned it. My other siblings and my parents, they just took it as something to like an extra thing to have.
Yeah.
Now I took it as this is the only thing I have. Let me take it and run with it.
Wow.
So I'm not gonna say I'm the best, but I'm the one who as you said, pursued
Pursued
and just took it seriously.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And you are so and you were born in Mdantsane. Can I say your age?
You can. I have no issues.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 36.
Yeah,
I
okay.
just recently turned 36.
Yes, 36 years.
But people still think I'm 30, which is amazing.
Really? How so?
Yes, I've had people who really quite become shocked when I tell them my real age. I don't know why. I think I have a baby face. So whenever I say, because I think a year ago, if not 2 years ago on Facebook, I wrote happy birthday. It was my birthday. I just wrote third floor. And I put my picture on the social media, and everyone was like, "You're welcome to the third floor." I found it so amusing because I was like, "Guys, I've been here for a while."
For 6 years now.
For 6 years, yeah. So I'm 36, yeah.
And you were born in Mdantsane.
Yes, didn't stay long.
You didn't stay long with your grandmother, right?
Yeah, I hung out with, well,
Hung out.
umama.
You lived with your grandmother.
Yeah, we lived Kapulu with umakulu.
Umakhulu, yes.
Because of working woman type of thing, so she would go to work and then we would be with our grandmother most of the time.
Typical story of a black child.
Yes.
You know what I'm
typically.
saying? Then you later moved to the Eastern Cape with your mom and dad.
Yes, we then moved from Mdantsane, we moved to the suburbs. As soon as freedom was announced in South Africa, 1994.
94, yeah.
We moved, and so the current place that my parents live in now, we've been there for like a good 28 years.
28 years,
yeah.
And guys, if you can hear the accent, it's from Greenpoint Secondary School, with a glance view of the ocean.
Oh, come on! Yes.
No, I'm not.
No, you are. Greenpoint Secondary School is.
It was a multiracial school at that point.
At that point, no, it wasn't.
It was.
That school, Siskolo, it's in the Sisekas. No?
Yeah, but it's what, 10 minutes from town. It's a town.
Yeah. But in terms of what, because I went to 3 schools. No? I went to Crew Primary School.
Yeah.
I went to Cambridge High School.
Okay.
And then I went to Greenpoint High School. Yes. So Cambridge High School, at the time, was seen as the multiracial school. Yeah, but, and then because I failed a year, because I was too focused on music, failed grade 9, standard 7. Failed grade 9, and then I repeated grade 9 at Cambridge High School, and then after passing grade 9, then I started grade 10 at Greenpoint Secondary School.
Yes.
And in actual fact, whenever I would give an answer in class, people would always, like the entire class would always, because I would always sit at the back.
Yeah.
Like people would just look at me shocked at the way I speak, because.
But it were these white people?
No, colored.
Colored people.
The multiracial aspect of it, so that there's colored and black
people.
Yes.
So tell us about the story of you being embarrassed to speak English because you couldn't speak English and you had to ask a friend to speak on your behalf.
This is now when I was still very, very young, because in Difunde in a Xhosa school, and then after Difunde in a Xhosa school, we moved to the suburbs, and my parents basfaka the school that was just down the road from the house.
Yeah.
And I remember I wanted to go to the bathroom, and I did not know a word of English, and I didn't know how to say it. So I had to drag this one girl with me, and I was like, toilet. And she did it. And I felt so embarrassed at the fact that I needed her to interpret for me. So from then on, I decided that I am going to know this language, and I'm going to speak it well. Yeah.
So your experience in a multiracial school in the beginning was obviously a tough one because kids can get very cruel.
Yes.
They can. I can imagine not being able to speak the language. You must have been picked on.
My picking on wasn't immediate.
Oh.
Or rather, let me say, maybe I can't remember it. But I don't think it was immediate because when I arrived at the school, I didn't stay long, and then we moved to another suburb area, and then we moved and we transferred to another school. And it was in that school that
What's the name of the school?
Crew Primary School.
Okay.
It's in Amalinda in
Oh,
East London.
yes.
It was in that school that that the picking on started to be quite prevalent for me. And I arrived doing grade 2. So I'd be picked on for the obvious, because I'd always been a chubby child. I was picked on for being chubby. I was picked on because I couldn't sing. I was picked on...
You couldn't sing?
Because I could sing.
Oh, you could sing? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I was picked on because I could sing. I only auditioned, in primary school, I only auditioned to be part of the choir when I arrived.
Yeah.
Thereafter, there wasn't any need for me to, like, I was probably one of the only people who didn't have to
I see.
prove that I can still sing.
I see.
And then we would sing in assembly at some point. So because of that, there would always be something that people would pick me on.
All right. Before we go to the reasons you were picked on, I wanna finish the multiracial schools, right? Some of us experience apartheid there.
Yes.
Because you could see, especially if a white teacher didn't like you.
Yes.
I remember there was a teacher called Mr. He passed away, I can't say his name. And he told me, you'll never amount to nothing. Look at your work. Pathetic. And that man could have broken me when I was
Yes.
younger, And I thank God I had the resistance to actually further on. So, Eastern, actually, the Hausa speaking people are big on politics.
Yes.
And I'm disappointed you don't speak that politic English. Come for money tender. How's the political landscape that side? Is it as political as we see it on TV? Oganye?
Not anymore. I think it was, well, not as prevalent. Like, it's not as big as it was back then, because I feel like back then there was a lot of there were reasons to fight, and so people would gather themselves and would even sacrifice themselves in order to fight the oppression, to fight the resistance that the white people had on black people. For example, my cousin sister is in the political area or business or whatever, and she's doing very well. She's a counselor in her in her area. So there are people who are still doing it. It is quite there, but not as
much.
Not as much, no. And it shouldn't be the case, because we still have quite a lot to fight for.
Yeah.
Because the delusion that we are free is exactly that.
It's very far.
It's a delusion.
People don't know how far.
And for me, it was such a culture shock for me to realize that, in actual fact, not yet Uhuru Nyan. Like,
no,
it's quite far away. And
what's important? How important is politics, especially in the Christian sphere? What do you say to Christians who say, I don't vote, man. Votela umoya kaThixo. Ndivotela amaZulu. What do you say to them?
When Jesus came, there's a passage in the scripture, I said that I don't know where it is precisely. But Uyesu, when he came and he existed and he healed the sick and he did all of those things, one of the things that he would always, or rather, let me put it this way, the Bible describes Uyesu in Isaiah as one who has the government in his shoulders.
Yeah.
So him having the government in his shoulder is significant of the fact that he is king. And he can never be a king if he's not concerned about the governance of that kingdom.
Yeah.
And so the people that call themselves after his likeness should also be concerned about the governance of where we exist.
Yeah.
Because as people who are of the kingdom of God, we are sent to colonize the kingdom of, or rather to colonize this world for the kingdom of God. 100%.
And
so we can't not be concerned about politics, because what then is decided in those places directly affects our lives.
100%.
And also, if we look in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament, you'll find that it was a prophet who would address the king and tell the king that, listen, God is not pleased with you.
Correct.
And it would be a prophet who even assigns kingship to, you know, to someone. Umntana kaJesu Davide was assigned his kingship by a prophet of the Lord. And that is significant of the fact that we as the body of Christ should be very much concerned and should be very much active where the political sphere is concerned, because it is part of who we are. It's part of what we're supposed to be doing.
Correct. And just to add on that, there are countries where you're not even allowed to pray or even have your Bible.
Yes.
So this privilege that we have, because it is a privilege in certain countries to have a Bible and freely worship your God. We should actually be guarding it and saying, hey guys, we need to vote. We need to make sure that the government knows that this is an integral part of what we do. Because there were times where they wanted to take Easter away as a holiday because it was against other religion and whatnot.
You look at, for example, you look at 2020,
Yeah.
and how just a simple disease as COVID
Correct.
affected how we do life. Yeah, but, and the fact that decision that came from that,
Correct.
from the government, affected
Everyone.
everything and everyone.
Correct.
And so you are delusional in thinking that you're just going to pray and keep speaking in tongues and hoping that things are going to change and do nothing.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, you're radical, eh? Is your blood red?
I haven't yet decided, yes.
But
Because it's going to be my first time voting.
first time.
Yes.
John.
Because every other time, I was out of the country. And I didn't make the effort to vote, because what they will do is that they will say that about there are voting stations for South Africans within that country that you were in.
100%, yes.
Yeah, but, so because at the time I was touring, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to. I just didn't care.
So you touched on something very important earlier, and you said we're talking about the kids being nasty, but South Africans in general have got a problem of body shaming, mockery. You see it a lot on Twitter.
Yes.
That's the reason why I stay away from Twitter. And you look at it and you're like, how can another person say this about Mumuntu? And then people are it's like we've lost our filter.
Yeah.
And especially on social media, because you are just a number.
Yes.
You feel you can say, and it hurts. When you were younger, when you were made fun of because of your weight and you could sing, what did that do inside of you? What did that take away?
It took away my confidence.
Yeah.
It really took me a while now as an adult to be confident in who I am, in what I represent, in even my walk with Christ. It took me a while to be confident that God has called me. It took me a while to be confident that God has assigned me a destiny. It took me a while to even see myself as a person who is gifted.
Yeah.
You know, I always suffered from, is it imposter syndrome? You know, where you feel like this is not me. You know, it's something else. So it took away my confidence, kakhulu. However, it also built a resistance.
You had a thick skin because of
Yes. It also built sarcasm, which which would later on help me.
Nah.
And it also built, because with sarcasm would come humor.
Yeah.
Because I never thought I was funny, up until I started to answer back to someone who would, you know. Because, for example, someone will say, "Yo, Unathi, you're so big," and I'm like, "Tell me something. So tell me something I don't know."
I don't know. Yeah.
Let's try that. Let's try and be as.
I hear you.
Challenge your mind and tell me something that I don't know. You know, so I would use sarcasm and humor.
Oh, wow.
To kind of resist. So, yeah, look, all things work together for my good, and it's only now as an adult that I got to appreciate everything that I've been through, to appreciate the shaming and all of that, and to speak on social media and everyone who is not ashamed to say these type of things. You must understand that it's the climate of the times. IBhayibhile is very clear that in the last days, sizolahlekelwa luthando. IBhayibhile, our hearts will grow will wax cold. So for me, it's not foreign. Okanye, it's not new because iBhayibheli itshilo uba in these times, compassion is going to be very thin. People are going to lose compassion, and you will see it. You know. So I'm not really shocked about this current state of things because I believe the word of God. I believe what God says concerning the times that we live in. I'm just shocked that we are here. I even said to God, I was like, wow, you could have warned me that I'm going to exist in the end times. Like you could have given me some sort of signal because I was not really that prepared.
No, 100%. And you've clearly said you've built resistance around that, né?
Yeah.
And I remember when I started the podcast, you see me now. I was very skinny, Not very, but I was skinny. And a lot of my friends, the first couple of episodes, yeah, we can't be let you. They'll send me messages. And it worked on me. I was like, so I can imagine when it's a daily occurrence.
Imagine where I always say that my gift put me in really awkward positions because imagine I'm standing in front of the assembly about to sing. I was introduced, hey guys, we've got someone who's going to sing for us. Unathi Mzekeli, please come up. Coming from my seat, walking all the way up
to stage
to stand, as I stand, you start to hear murmur. As I start walking, you hear more murmur. As so that sound just travels with you as you ascend.
Yeah.
It becomes louder and louder, and there's laughs. There's So tell me what your confidence is doing during that. So it's things that I've experienced time and time again. Every time you enter a room, be it when I'm sent, Unathi, please go to this class and tell Miss So-and-so that I'm looking for this. You knocking on the door, you opening the door, you approaching the teacher, the murmur, the laugh. So it's a sound that I really got used to, and I built a resistance. I could recognize it always, but it just didn't affect me anymore. The Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. And it's when I saw that verse that I started to see that, okay, I need to guard my heart against this, because perspectives is abandu are none of my business. I don't have to concern myself with people's perspectives because they are not law. Ayingomthetho. And on top of that, ayingomthetho kaThixo.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't be bothered.
Sure. I think it was gonna break me, man. Because, hey, man, I've been made fun of for numerous things, and I can sort of remember. Sort of remember. And you're right when you're saying you get humor because you are defending yourself.
Yes, it's a defense mechanism.
And I think I started making jokes around my friends because it was also a defense mechanism to a certain degree. But hey, let's not stay on that. The last question I need to ask you about this is, I know you say you've built resistance, but especially when it comes professionally, when you work with, I don't want to say Joyous, when you work with maybe a big artist, and you can hear, undertones, but no, man, this person ufuna ukuthi, but they're not really saying it.
Do you know when I first met with Tatu Lindelani, this was in 2007, because he was doing a show in East London, and I was part of the backing vocals. So I did the show, and I told him that, listen, I would love to be part of Joyous Celebration. And they instructed somebody to let them know, or rather to communicate with me to let me know about when auditions will be. And whenever I would inquire of this person, they said something which really, it was funny. It's funny now, but back then it really stung. The individual said, no, Joyous Celebration is no longer looking for, they're trying to decrease hiring or getting abantu abatyebileyo.
Hey.
To be part of the choir. And that was not true. They were only saying what they were saying because they wanted me to stop asking. So it's always the case, man. For me, I've built a resistance, but entering a room is been tough.
Ne?
Entering stages, like when you walk on stage, and you're standing backstage and you hear your intro, and you need to walk in. You know the amount of deep breaths you need to take,
Yes.
so as to shut out.
Yeah, let me help you.
Yeah, help me with this. It just keeps
There we go.
steady.
My goodness. All right. Sorry for the interval. All right. Sorry, I don't know if you lost your trail of thought.
No. I was saying that
Joyous Celebration, about
when you
fundamental
enter,
yeah?
when you enter certain space, like when you enter on stage, you know the effort that you need to make in shutting up the voices,
And actually preparing yourself
preparing yourself, you know, to get on stage. I had a big phobia when I first started with Joyous Celebration. I never wanted to fall on stage. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't want. Like it became a thing, like an anxiety thing where I'd just constantly be like, Unathi, do not fall. Whatever you do, don't fall on stage. And it happened. It's like first recording, it happened. I fell on stage.
Fell.
I fell.
Njani? Did you trip on a cable?
We were doing sound check, and we had gone to fetch black pants because we needed to have black pants. We had to go fetch them at the hotel.
Yeah.
And when we came back, the choir was already on stage, and so we were late. So we went to we were going backstage, so we came through the auditorium. So we went up the stairs. As I was ascending the stairs, I had my black pants on, and they were a bit long. I've got short limbs. So it literally went under my shoe.
Yeah.
And it made my landing slippery.
Yeah.
And I literally just like on the very last step.
But you were not in front of the audience, ne?
There was no audience.
Better. Whew.
There was an almost with audience. That was in Cape Town.
Oh my goodness.
Same year. Where this time I tripped over a monitor. There was a choir monitor. As I was going back, I just sang, and then I was walking back, and we were given an instruction that, guys, don't be so quick to turn your back against the audience. So just take a few steps back, and then when you see that you're close, turn. Yes. So I was like, okay, follow the instruction. Did that, and then I didn't anticipate the
step.
Yes, the monitor.
Yeah.
So I literally just took a step. Gandhi, it's right by the monitor.
Oh my goodness.
And I had to like swing my other leg in order so that I'd land. So I landed on Undogozo. And she caught, she caught my fall. I don't know how she did it. Because I'm a big guy.
She caught you?
Like she literally caught my fall.
Yeah.
I didn't really fall, but it wasn't almost fall.
If she wasn't there.
Yeah. If she wasn't there, it would have been very bad.
It could have been better because it deals with the confidence. And we had a lady called Myra to the podcast.
Yes.
Her episode was last week, and she had to get her arm amputated.
Oh.
And now she, you know Myra, she used to sing with
with Tabs.
Tabs.
Yeah.
And the question I ask her is your confidence on stage. Like people don't know, even if you are upelele, how much it takes for you to psych yourself up.
Yes.
And make sure you deliver. You don't have to worry about ingalo or whatever. It takes a lot.
It does, ascending the stage and literally to present or even to speak.
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
It does.
It's not something that is. It's not a J thing.
Ne?
It really takes an effort, and some people will be like, Sky, it's just singing.
Ne?
And they don't know
Good, yeah.
that, guys, there's a lot to consider.
Then you need to remember arrangements. Then you must be on key.
Yes.
What you guys do, ne? Anyway, so tell me, do you actually have friends in the industry?
I do.
I know you're very close with Sia.
Yes. Usiam Tetwa.
Sia, I know you guys are very close.
That's my brother and friend.
Do you have friends in the industry?
Yes. You mentioned TK.
TK
Goodman.
Yes. That's a cool guy.
Let's not mention them, actually.
Yeah,
because I might. Because so, but yes, I do. I've got people in my
genuine
life.
Friends.
Genuine people.
You've got friends, ne? And then you've got friends, ne? And then you've got these guys.
I've realized I've realized that. First of all, and second of all, I've realized that Abantu people have been through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and I've realized I've really applied grace for people that you are describing.
Yeah.
To understand, but there's something that happened to you which has caused you to be the way that you are.
Correct.
And so I still keep them in my life, but I'm very much aware of who they are.
Ne?
Yes. No, I'm very much aware of everyone that's around me.
Wow. Right. So you
When you walk with God, you have to.
Ne?
When you walk with
100%. And what you're saying is so important, ne? So important because of my tolerance. I sometimes need to tell myself, okay, because I'm quick to walk away. You know.
Me too. I've had to apply. That's why I'm saying that I've had to apply grace,
Ne? because
there was a point, when you've been hurt and bruised and taken advantage of and you sort of like visit, because it took God for me to reach a point where I have compassion for people.
Ne?
I'm a loner, and I'm not a loner because it's a natural inclination. I'm a loner because human beings have not been kind to me. And so I developed a resentment towards people because of the few that have not been kind to me. And so by the time I was part of Joyous, I didn't anticipate being famous or being popular. And so I remember when we first walked out after a show and you have people coming up to you wanting to take pictures, that was very overwhelming for me because I did not prepare for that. Actually, even standing in my position in the choir and looking out at the audience, that overwhelmed me because I was not ready for that.
Yeah.
And the fact that Bamba Ish, I have this experience concerning human beings, and now I'm in a position where I am vulnerable to that, and it's at a higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so God has had to really deal with my heart
Ne?
where that is concerned.
Wow. I saw a post of you, ne? This week. Yeah, this week, where you had money in it's like a tissue, and they put coins. I can't remember what it was saying, but it was basically saying, "I'm like, siyabonga."
God bless you.
Bless you. Thank you for your for your efforts.
Yeah,
And I looked at the first time I looked at it, I was like, "Hey, people got lucky. At least they got something." Because I grew up in church. I was a musician in church, and I don't remember.
Yeah.
I need you to tell me your thoughts around musicians getting paid, the remuneration of musicians, and the real life experience of musicians. I know that you might be biased because your grandparents were pastors, right?
My parents are pastors.
Your parents are pastors.
Yes.
Ne? So you, as a PK, I know your view might be different, but I want to get a perspective from person from inside.
Look, I'll give you God's perspective. And it won't be based on scripture, to be just based on what God said to me when I was about to enter that space where I was going to be booked by a church every Sunday to come and minister or to sing, and they would pay me. This was in 2012, if not 2013. I was scouted by this church, and we had quite a few meetings with the church where they were taking us through their code of conduct, through how the church is run and what they stand for and all of that stuff. And in the process of doing that, I was also auditioning for a production, or rather I was approached for a production in Europe. And they were like happening like hand in hand. I would go to this church, sit down with them, sit down with the worship leader, and they would tell us what their process of, rehearsals and all of that stuff, telling us how much they're going to pay us and what they're looking to do and And when I had just completed that process, the guys from Europe told me that, look, we're going with you. This is your flight details. You've done your visa. And
Is that the Afrika Afrika?
Afrika Afrika, okay. Yes. And so as I started now preparing to go, God said to me, if you want money, go and work. my house is not for
money.
you to make money, because it's going to corrupt your worship to me. Because you will expect money in order for you to worship me. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's going to corrupt your worship. Go and work. And I went and I worked in Europe.
Yeah.
So came back to South Africa, and after coming to South Africa, I met my pastor, who's now passed away. And I was
Pastor
serving,
passed away.
Yeah, in 2020.
Okay.
I was serving under his ministry in Midrand, and I never expected any remuneration from him. But we've had a conversation about it, and one of the things he said to me, which made sense to me, is like, God calls us to sonship. Yeah? And when God calls you to sonship, what is a son to a father? Yeah? And what is a father to a son?
Correct.
Yeah, well, and so if your relationship is going to be based on father-son with God, then it needs to be based on father-son. Your father doesn't pay you for you to be his son.
Yeah, but he looks after you.
Yes,
He pays for your needs.
he does. But it's not an immediate transaction. Or rather, it's not a forced transaction. It's a natural transaction.
Oh, yes.
Do you understand?
No.
It's not a contractual transaction.
It's much more than a contract here.
That's what I'm saying. Bamba, it's well, and you know, you don't agree with this, and it's okay.
No.
But all I'm saying is this:
Yeah.
that if your reasons to be a son in a house is because you get money for it, are you really a son in that house?
I hear you.
Because the house of the Lord, ne? When we say that we are people who, or rather, I am a son in this house, in this specific church, ne? And I'm saying that I'm serving God, ne? Is service, anything will come with sacrifice, and we are not willing to admit to that sometimes.
Even when the church actually has the money?
If the church has the money, they can go ahead. Ne?
Yeah.
But on a personal level, this will not be the reason why I will be a son in this house.
No, we're not talking about being a son. We're talking about...
Kaloku. That's why I mentioned the church initially. Because the only reason I was going to be a son under that church is because they had scouted me to come and work on a Sundays.
Correct.
And so by virtue of me being scouted, the only reason I would have been part of that church is because they said, we will give you money in order for you to serve in this church.
Correct.
Yabo, which is not how things should be.
Should be, ne?
In my opinion.
If you're going to serve at a church and become a son, I want to hear if I'm hearing you correctly. Then, according to you and your standpoint, you should not then be paid because you're a son. You should be serving.
You should.
Should?
You should. And then it should be the church to decide to take care of you. It actually should be God who takes care of you. And I'll be cautious in how I approach this. Because also pastors have taken advantage of this, ne? And used it in a bad way.
Yes.
Let me start here. In my career in the music industry, there's no door that has opened to me because I've gone to it. Every door that has opened to me is because God has brought it to me and said, this is an opportunity, go.
Correct.
This is a door, go. And that was God taking care of me. When I first got into Joyous Celebration, I was playing keys in my dad's church, and I had to leave because I was now going to move to Joburg. Yabo. Utiko is able to take care of you. And I blame us, and I blame pastors also, for people to now say, Bamba, if the church is not going to pay me, I'm not doing it. Because of this reason.
Yeah.
Ne, the abuse that musicians have experienced ne, is the reason why most people will have this opinion. Our level of trust and faith in God ne, is flimsy. Yabo. And I'm a radical in terms of walking with God. I'm a radical because I've seen God. I've experienced literally the nothing to something experience. So I believe that God is able to take care of us in each and every way. And in Lagetu is also thinking that will take care of us osuka kuThixo is only monetary. That is also our problem.
You know why monetary seems to be shining above everything else? It's because when you get home after a Sunday service and you have to eat, and I hear what you're saying.
I've been
sacrifice, you need to go through.
Sir, you're not speaking to someone who has not experienced this.
Exactly.
And this is now Unathi, the Unathi that is part of Joyous and celebrated and all of that stuff. I was serving at a church with the same precept or the same concept of mind that I have now.
Yeah.
But look, I'm serving. I don't expect anything from you. My service is unto the Lord, not unto you. When I'm fundis, yabo. And umfundisi, one because I'd never gone with him to minister outside of the services in church. So he asked me, he's like, hey, look, I'm ministering and I want to please come with me. And I go with him. And fam, when I tell you, you know, dan pilanga goda, ekufuneka ndisike
into 4
ndithatha igona per day. Ndiphile ngalo gona, yabo lo gona. That's my meal for the day. So it was during that season. One time, 2 men of God samba so icula. And we came back. Ndiyayibona envelope esandleni sakhe uhamba usenje uyiphethe. So the guy who was transporting us drops him first at his house. He gets out the house and says, God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my son.
And you saw the envelope.
I was very much aware. Fam. It was thick. It was hefty. Thank you so much, my son. God bless you.
Yes.
Ndahamba ndafika endlini thatha amanzi am thatha ikona yelo nto ikona yekota yam ndatya. That is that.
But we need to agree that that's not right, man.
It isn't. It is not.
It's not right. I remember we used to serve.
But it should not be the basis
of saving 100%.
It should not be the basis of us saying that we are not going to do this because of. Yeah, well, we need to be able to acknowledge that it's an experience that we've had and it's not right. But it shouldn't change our heart towards God. It shouldn't change our heart toward what God says and what God's word says concerning service.
Hey, but you're a PK. You're a PK, and which denomination do you fall under?
I'm not sure.
All right, and Ekaya is Mzambula okanye.
My dad dikhulele Zion. Skupu. Yes, sasidlala ugube ekhaya.
Okay.
But when my parents went out and did their own thing, you could call it the charismatic. It was charismatic in its way. It was Word of Faith Community Church. So it was charismatic. We preach Jesus, salvation, the works. So I'm not sure the denomination and where it would fall in.
I thought maybe you come from it's our, what do you call it, a church where you assemblies.
AOG.
It's nearly like like Faith Mission. It's nearly like a mainline church.
From high school, grade 8 to grade 10. I was part of AOG because I got born again assemblies, and I was always attending at assemblies, but it was just for like 2-3 years.
2-3 years.
Yeah.
So you've been to Tabanchu?
As a child, yes. Yeah. I've been to Tabanchu. My parents, as much as they were no longer part of the church, but they always would go to a Tabanchu. So yeah, I've been to Tabanchu a few times. Yeah. We even had pictures where we were singing.
And the music there in Tabanchu.
Yeah, fam. I can't remember much of it because I was quite young.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about your music, man. You know, when I was, so I get a lot of people, some of them, Pezulu, but you know, and they say, "Hey, man, can we come to the podcast?" And And I'm like, no, man, there has to be a reason why you come. And it feels like I'm being pompous, you know.
Yeah.
But then it loses the true essence of what the podcast is
Sure.
about. So I talk to people who I find obviously interesting. Their journey resembles a certain, you know, way I look at life, or I look at Christianity, and their music really that needs. I feel like, hey man, people are sleeping on this man. You know, like people are sleeping on this man. But before we go there, you said a statement, and I need to read it to you. Né? East London is not just my home, but it's a point of reference to my Christian walk.
Yes.
Can you please break that down to us? I thought I understood, but I realized after speaking to you now, I don't really understand.
Look at you can tell a person, you can tell Amakholwa by their location, by where they are. You can tell where they come from. Sometimes born by this person is probably from KZN. If you look at Christians from KZN, they have a certain thing about them. If you look at Christians from East London, they have a certain thing about them. If you look at Christians in Johannesburg, there's this. We are, as much as we are all part of the same body, but there are different aspects about, like sahlukile.
The interpretation of Christianity.
Not even the interpretation, but just the persona, the characteristics, man. I don't know whether you get it, but there's just, look at KZN, for example.
KZN, yes.
Now, if you look at KZN and you look at the people in KZN, you look at the born agains
Yes.
in KZN, and you listen to the way they talk about God. They listen to
Yes.
you listen to their
Yes.
you listen to their doctrine, to the doctrine and how they interpret doctrine, and you even listen to the style of music that they have. Yeah, well, it is uniquely theirs. Yeah, well, and so even when a person moves to Joburg, once you listen to them speak, once you listen to them, once you can tell. But when
Of course.
you're probably from KZN.
No, I think I heard you the first time when I read it. 100%.
So it's a depiction, also because people are always shocked by the khulele Zion. Yabo, and it be easy only at
Ubethe isigubhu?
Yes, when betu kubu. Oh no, mama, my mother was also a kubu.
You were sabu there.
I was a sabu then. Yeah. So the music that I've then produced is a reflection of that.
Yeah.
It's my walk with Christ is a reflection of that, because I met God in the streets of East London. I would have conversations before I was even born again. When I was still in primary school, I would have conversations with God, walking to school, walking from school. I would have conversations because I used to enjoy taking walks. So I would take walks around West, the neighborhood, and I would have conversations with God. I remember if I'd come home and I'd be deeply despaired because of the day I've had and the mockings and the so I've been emotionally drained. I would have conversations with God, and I would hear him tell me that, look, I love you, I've created you. Gamabom, he'd give me that my opinion matters. Your opinion of yourself matters, and so align your opinion with my opinion, and you're good. You know, that's like literally what God said to me when I was young. And so as soon as I would receive that message, that would build me. So I can never forget those encounters, because each Christian deserves a burning bush experience.
Ne?
Because
Deserves.
we deserve it, guys, because that sets you up for life. That speaks to your destiny. That speaks to your tomorrow. If you've never had a genuine experience with God, then your walk with God becomes flimsy. Then you become tossed to and fro with every changing doctrine, which is why when the prophets come and say that you can eat grass, you're going to eat it, because you have no burning bush experience. You have no encounter with God, an encounter which is the foundation of your walk with him. It's very important.
Hey, I nearly said funda team. Like you are there, Baba.
No. It's important, sir.
You're speaking to me, my man, because certain things, they can...
No, it's important. And we must understand the times we live in. There's going to be a very vast and great deception that's going to occur, and that's already been occurring.
It is.
And so if you don't have your own notebook where you have jotted down what God has done for you, who He is, and your you know
And working
what
out
you've
your
seen,
own salvation.
what you've seen in God, what God has said to you, that you have not received as a prophecy,
Yeah.
but you have downloaded from God.
From
If you
God.
don't have those experiences, then you are
Sounds like
definitely
it,
going to be tossed to and fro.
My brother, let's talk about your music. But I heard you. I heard you loud and clear. I need
Yes,
to
sir.
watch this again to let it sink and simmer. So, my brother, you know the music industry, no? Okay, let me ask you first. Do you feel like what we see on TV and on media is a true reflection of the true music that we really have in South Africa?
No,
No?
no. Music we see on TV is based on market. It's based on popularity.
So proper music is still hidden out there.
Yes, because proper music sometimes is not easily received. That's why there's an entire industry called bubblegum music. Bubblegum music is everybody eats bubblegum.
Ne?
Yabo, akho umuntu ongazange wakhe wayitya bubblegum elifini yakhe.
100%.
Yabo, we've all received
Easy-
bubblegum,
easy
and
to
it's
consume,
easier
yeah.
to eat bubblegum than to consume broccoli, for example. So yeah, you get it.
I hear. And man, you worked with Donnie McClurkin.
Yes, Mahalia's church,
Yes.
back in the day, they hosted him, and Mahalia called me to come and be part of the BVs.
Ne?
For that, it was actually my first time BVing. I can count like literally in one hand the people that I've worked with where BV is concerned, because I wasn't popular in that area.
And Vashon?
Vashon Mitchell, Vashon Mitchell. He was also part of the repertoire there.
And obviously, Benjamin Dube.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Hey, that
Hey,
man.
your solo
such,
da
such a great man, that one.
Hey, bro, your solo, I must give it to you. Ne? No, you know, because of when Ngubeko came to Joyous Celebration and he started introducing those nice arrangements to music.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people started copying it.
Yes.
And when somebody comes out with a different tone, and then I start to listen now.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And every time you sing, I feel like there's no way you can miss Unathi. No, when you start singing, there's no way.
Yeah.
Right? There's no way. Your tone, yonke into yakho, you know. And I was like, if the music industry was really fair, and it's about true, authentic music, good music, I know you're very far, ne? But you could literally come to change your clothes in South Africa and stay on the road. No, I'm telling you, because like what you were saying, this bubblegum has gotten us to a point where everyone must sound the same. But when I listen to you, I'm thinking, yeah, this guy, on iTunes, the only thing you see is an EP.
Nah.
And you worked with Sibongile Khumalo.
That was a weird experience.
Yes.
That was weird because I should have never worked with her.
Really?
Because I didn't want to audition because she held auditions for the production.
Yeah.
Or for the touring that she did, because she was touring South Africa for an album or a celebration of some sort that she was doing. And a friend of mine calls me and is like, hey, I want to go and audition for Mam Sibongile. Please come with me. And during that time, I was still living East Rand, Guatem. And I was like, no, it's too far. Yeah, dear baseline, just to sit with you. By the way, I'm very honest, like even brutally. Like, just to come and sit with you while you audition. Come on. It's like, come on, please. And then when I get there, Mam Sibongile's daughter, Ayanda, she was handing out applications for the auditioning thingy. And she gives me one. She's like, are you auditioning? I'm like, no, I'm just accompanying a friend. She's like, but can you sing? And I was like, well, yes. She's like, then why audition? It's like, no, but I'm not prepared, because I'd been listening to the people that are there. You prepared 3 pieces, or rather 2 pieces, and they did a scale type of thing.
Yeah.
So people have been preparing for this, and I can't just go in blind. And so I was like, just audition. So I filled in the form, gave it in. It's my time to go in. And literally when I stepped in, I was like, listen, I'm not supposed to be here, ma'am. And if I'm going to waste your time, I really do apologize. But yeah, she's like, oh, so you're not here to audition? I'm like, well, I'm going to audition now because the opportunity has been open to me, but that was not the initial intent. I was just here accompanying a friend, so I'm not really prepared for this. Okay, she's like, okay, sing. So I sing because it was two pieces, contemporary and choral,
Yeah, the classical,
or rather classical. So the first I sang the contemporary, and she's like, okay, sing a classical. It's like, what do I know about classical? I don't know any song classical. And she was like, okay. Then she started singing Thula Sizwe Ungabokhala. And she's like, so accompany me. So I accompanied her with the whole tone. Yeah. I did that, and then the third exercise, what they played the minor scale.
Minor scale, yeah.
So Uput Mtutuzi plays the minor scale, and you needed to emulate what he's playing.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it was my first time actually hearing minor scale. I'd never heard it before, but because God blessed me with small ears, I could hear it, so I was able to emulate. And to my surprise, I went through.
Yeah.
Then the second phase of the audition, the callbacks, we were divided into groups, and we were supposed to arrange a song. They gave us a song, and we're like, okay, arrange it harmonically and all of that stuff. And back then, I didn't know that I could arrange vocals and all of that. So I was like, okay, guys, let's do this. So they put me up as a person to lead. I was a group leader. We arranged, and we presented, and my group was number one. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So, long story short, that's how I got to work with her. So it was just
With your arrangement, I've heard that your songs, everywhere you go, they've the BVs, the way they harmonize, it sounds different. It's like when Twins Number goes and does a song with Joyous.
Yeah.
The BVs are different. It's like they follow that classical you know. Do you also get involved in a song that you're featured on that, no guys, the BVs have to be like this?
Not always. In for example, Kumfundisi, because I was part of the backing team, I would always just throw in my 2 cents, and he was kind enough to go with it. Yeah, well. So this is now for all the songs, or for most of the songs.
Yeah.
So I would help out with arranging.
All right. So let's go to your EP, because apparently you recorded something before. Benjamin Dube opened your studio for you.
Yes.
And you recorded. Where's that?
He opened Spirit Music in Midrand.
Yeah, but is this the EP that you recorded?
Yes. There's nothing else that I've recorded.
I thought it was another one.
No. This is it.
So this EP was Umfundisi Benjamin Dube said, "Come and
look, I'm gifting you with studio time," and he gave me 5 days.
5 days. 5 days.
And we know how expensive 5 days are.
It's very expensive.
So he gave me 5 days.
Really?
Studio time, and I only used 3 of that 5.
So because East London has got a rich culture of jazz music, when I listen to you, I'm like, what is this one doing in gospel? Like, I listened to your song. Ne? There's a song you did with on what do you call it? On your EP. It's song number. There, I just hear Nduduzo Makatini there, and his trio. I'm like, I think it's song number 2. No, man. I'll remember it. But it sounds like you've got a rich jazz.
I don't know where it comes from.
History.
Because I grew up listening to traditional gospel. Then I went immediately after the traditional gospel, I listened to American gospel.
Really?
When I started to come to Johannesburg, then I got exposed to American gospel, and I started to listen to American gospel. Jazz music or only came when I started to listen to Usimpiwe Dan.
Yeah.
Usimpiwe Dan, Spogazi, Busokoza, Mam Spongile Kumalo.
That song is Ndonwabile.
Oh, Ndonwabile kuye.
Ah, that song. Wait. That song needs a 3-piece. Hardcore jazz people. Ne?
Yeah.
No, they played it well. Ne? I don't know who was your band there, but they played it well. They played it beautifully. But I felt like, hey, man, you know.
You actually now I want to actually play it with jazz people. Now you're making me curious. Well, if I would go and literally like get a jazz, like a trio, like as you say, like a jazz trio, and just even have the
double bass,
double bass.
100%. Like when I listened to that song, I don't know how many times, and it was the first time I heard it. Izolo, I was like, hey,
That's interesting.
like if I know Sia is very good with jazz, but Nduduzo Makhathini is a jazz head, and you get a double bass, and you get a drummer, you know, who just plays, you know,
A doo-wop drama.
yeah. I think you should be, yeah, man. Anyway, so you joined Joyous Celebration 2009,
9.
and you did say you were hinting, and you finally joined the choir, right? And it was I think the first song you did at Joyous was
Just 13. It was a verse,
I took
or rather, first song.
first song.
It was Joyous 14. He that dwells. Psalm 91.
Yes. Hey, I nearly butchered it, but I think you nailed it. But when Joyous 16
Yeah.
is where I said, Konje, what song did you do?
Ikerupi.
Ikerupi,
And Oh I Trust.
I was like, hey, there's something here.
Most people actually
Yeah.
were like, wait, who is that?
Yes.
On Joyous 16.
16. Yes. I started noticing. I'm like, hey, man, because I had heard it. I've heard he's good, but sometimes, especially, and that's why they say you don't make music for musicians, because you hear it, then you realize that if you listen to it, it grows on you. Ne?
Yeah.
And then I started going back. I'm like,
But that's my type of anointing though.
Yeah.
That's how I've made peace with that.
Ne?
People don't see me first time around.
ne?
They always revert back.
You are seconds.
I'm always like, people are always like, wait.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. It's always been like that.
Ne? So, but people don't know that before Joyous, you were part of a group. Big
Yeah,
time.
I've-
You call it Stand.
Yes.
Stand,
I've
ne?
always been part of group, and that speaks to the confidence thing.
Ne?
I-
So it's Stand, and you said it's your home.
Stand is home.
Ne?
Stand is yeah. Stand is family.
Ne?
Because the guy who established it, Pastor Kukumbuku, he's like a big brother to me. Well, he is my big brother. He was the one who first recognized the gift in me,
Ne?
and I didn't see it.
You didn't see
So he was like, "There's something about you. Come here."
So your compositions, bruh. No, your writing skills. Your writing skills, I must say, I didn't. When I find out that you wrote these songs, and when I listen to your EP, I'm like, wow, this guy. It's not the ordinary, typical writing. I'm not saying people write ordinary, but it's set apart. I think bigger than your vocal ability, your writing is far greater than you think.
This gift is God's. That's all I can say to that because when people say those things, I can't relate because for me it's an expression.
Like Uyangiholu Baba.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know. I used to laugh. That's when I drive far. Dance along.
I was curious because I'd never heard that song. Because it's a
Yes.
everybody our age,
Yeah.
knows that song, but it's a public domain song.
Yeah.
So I was always just curious of that song, on how it would be now.
Yeah.
And so the verses came.
So you came up with the verses.
The verses, oh yeah, oh yeah. So it just built itself based on just that curiosity.
Oh yeah, man. And then Uzogulandela, that's typical you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your. That one, when I saw that you wrote it, I was like, obvious. And then Upeka Jehovah on Joyous 18, I didn't know that it was you. I didn't know. Like, that's a typical traditional song. So when I classify you.
People doubt it.
Yes.
People to this day, whenever I say that, and I don't usually blurt out. I'm not the type of like, guys, it's me. I don't do that.
Ne?
But when people find out and they come, like, wait, did you? I'm like, yes, I did. They always be like, nah, that can't be.
Wait. So I want to check something with you. I've got a bone to pick with you. I read or I saw somewhere that you said you don't like things like split sheets.
What?
Split sheets. So when you come up with a song and you get a producer,
Yeah.
and people put arrangements on the split sheet, you need to say,
Oh, I don't get that.
why?
Because your contribution is based on my brainchild.
Well, hello.
And so, me splitting my brainchild with you when your contribution can't stand alone. Because if we take away my brainchild, what contribution do you have left?
But that's the reason why we've got producers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That your production is only based on what I come up with.
Correct. And I need to be remunerated for that.
Yes, but it should not be great. Like, it shouldn't be a big amount. I really have a problem to this day.
Can we talk about this quickly? So you come with a song, right? We'll call it a diamond in the rough. You come with it because of your harmony ability. You've arranged the harmonies. And then a good producer's job should be like, I think you've overdone it here. You think you've overdone it here. Let's cut this here. And the key is wrong for the song. People don't know. A song on the wrong key can be
That's
flat.
true.
That's a meaningful contribution in terms of where the song can go.
Yes, but it's things that I know. Which is why I'm going to come with the key right. Because I'm aware of this. Which is why even when producing the song or writing the song, what I do is that I capture it. Like, I literally go on GarageBand and literally just sing the entire song to you with the harmonies and progression, so that you are aware that you're not going to substitute anything that you feel is right, because this is how I want it to
Are
go.
you telling me there's no producer that said it's a beautiful song, but we need to
Look, that's why me and Sia have a great relationship.
Yes.
Because he's always allowed me to be.
Ne?
Yabo? And when he contributes, he always contributes something that is meaningful, and he will always see a blind spot. Boom.
But that's exactly what I'm saying.
I know, but I still don't like it.
So the person who comes up with the song should have 100% and not share anything with anyone.
Okay, no.
So what are you saying?
I don't know what I'm saying. I just think I have just a gripe with it in jail.
Ne?
Yeah.
It just doesn't-
because I get the reasoning behind it,
Yeah?
but I'm always like,
Let me give you an example. You come and you do a song. And I said, no, man, guys, this song is beautiful. It's short a hi-hat. Or, no, hi-hat, maybe let's leave hi-hat. It's short the bass line is wrong. Then I sing for you the bass line. I'll give you the piri for Zaza. That bass line, I don't want to say made this a song, but a lot of people
in that situation, yes.
That's a lot of people remember the bass line because of the song.
True.
Now that guy contributed.
You don't need to convince me. Because I did say that, okay, fine. It makes sense, but I still don't like it.
You don't like it, ne?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, making it does make sense, and it's true.
Okay.
But I just don't like it.
Let's speak about your EP before we close, ne?
Yes.
But unveil. Ihambo nokumkani. What does
Yes.
that mean?
Ihambo.
Ihambo, it's journey.
Yes. Ihambo nokumkani with the king.
Kumkani is king.
Kumkani is king. We recognize God as a savior. We recognize God as our lover, as our father. We recognize God in every aspect except for his kingship. Because we are a democratic people.
Ne?
So we don't know how to be with a king. We don't understand that a king has final say. That's why we debate the scriptures.
Hey. Say that again.
We don't know how to relate with a king.
Yeah.
Because the rule of a king is final. The king says, guys, at 3 o'clock, you are not allowed to enter my space. And at 3 o'clock, no one enters that space because the king has said it. Because the voice or the word of the king is law. That's why the queen could send people to come and dominate or take over South Africa.
Yeah.
And our culture,
Yeah.
that's why Saphume Beshwini sangena kwimpahla, because we were being colonized and turned into.
I know this political one was going to come out. Go deeper.
So all I'm saying is that when we relate with God, or rather, God has revealed himself to me also as a king.
Ne?
And the fact that my life needs to be aligned to his laws. 100%. And so a journey with the king is an expression of just recognizing his kingship and being thankful of the fact that I'm part of this journey. Because it's a privilege to have audience with the king. Wow. Not everyone has audience with the king.
No, I thought but for some reason I didn't know Kumkani was king. I was like, because I've heard it somewhere. Wow, this is a beautiful, wow.
So ihambo nokumkani.
Anyway, what a beautiful song.
Thank you.
I'm guessing you wrote all these songs, ne?
Yes, except for the a cappella in the beginning.
Yeah.
But all songs were written by me. The first one.
Who wrote the a cappella in the beginning?
It's a hymn.
Oh,
I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice.
I didn't know.
That's a hymn.
Yeah.
I grew up singing it at school.
Okay.
Yeah, the first song I wrote. Yeah, also Yegintlanga. The first part, I wrote that like in primary school. Just that part. That. And then every other part of the song came when I was in Europe. 2013. Yeah.
It's international. You can hear. Okay, we need to close. My guy's saying we need to close, but and Siagutumisa.
Siagutumisa was inspired by
Really?
But yes. With his song Mangipela Mandla.
Oh yes.
Yes. So I'd been listening to that song for quite a while.
Yeah.
So Siagutumisa is the birth child of that song. Because it was from that song that I heard.
So the birth was from Ngubeko, so the royalties must go to Ngubeko.
Not really.
I'm just playing with you.
Did you see how I changed?
And when you do Venek, it slaps differently to when you're doing English songs.
Yeah.
Like when you Venek, man. Not that I don't hear you when you do others, but hey man, when you do Venek.
I've realized that God has given us this sound on purpose.
Ne?
Which is why.
Also, you are aware that you've got a different sound.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm aware. I've been aware. Yes. Which is why God said to me at some point that you need to purify the African sound. Because we've said that the African sound, or rather we have a depiction or our hey, why am I losing my train of thought? When you think of the African sound, like the hoyo, you think of witchcraft, you think of bungoma. I'm speaking now from a Christian point of view. You think of those things initially.
Yes.
Whereas the earth is the Lord's and everything therein.
Yes.
So there's nothing on earth that doesn't belong to God. And even the sound, the African sound is originally given to to Africans.
Yes.
For the expression of love and expression of worship and praise to God. And so I've been on a journey of just purifying the African sound so that when people hear it, they don't hear, their first thought is not and all of that stuff. But their first thought is that, let's worship God. Yeah.
I'm a great advocate for we need to come back and do things in an African way.
It's only Africans that are able to emulate other
people, 100%.
Go to America and ask Americans to emulate.
And I've been telling people, guys, do you know how good our South African musicians are? Because South Africans have checked these Americans, but us, and it seems like we're moving away from us. Do you know what I see when I see you? Ne? I see you in an unplugged session. Not even a drum kit, but these percussions. You can have a piano, a double bass, but that kind of raw. I think you'll be doing an injustice if you just record a DVD recording like it's done. I think it should be outside. You know how Dr. Tumi did by the dam, something like that. Then you've got. Did you see when this guy was here? What's that guy's name? David. Can I remember that guy? The guy that came from America, man. No, man. He sings. What's his name?
Anthony. Not Anthony Hamilton.
But anyway, he came. He was in Monte Casino for 3 days, for 3 nighs, and he got a South African band. And it was not just a typical blind drummer. No, the drummer was like a percussionist. There was a pianist. There was a guy playing the harp, and there was horns. It was so beautiful. And I see you doing that kind of stuff. If you do a typical gospel artist, gospel babizan recording, man, I don't know, but maybe look, man, it's my limited knowledge, ne?
Well, it could be the reason why I haven't recorded a typical yet,
Ne?
because it's conflicts that happen within me.
Ne?
Because Lenwiteta is not off my vision board. Like,
Yeah.
it's not out of my vision. Things that I want to do. However, I'm always in conflict of what is done, and because I don't literally go against the grain on purpose. I feel like it's a natural inclination for me to just like, okay, you guys are doing this. Wait, I'm coming back.
I'm coming back.
I'm going to my own thing,
Ne?
and and probably take from what is done, but just add a few this
You
and
know what?
that.
I'm gonna forget. I need to tell you this guy's name. Sorry, Basalwat. This guy's name is. I'll tell you now because he's on my playlist.
Yeah, I think our podcast is going to be longer than an hour.
Yeah, no, we're done. Now I can't find him now. I'll tell you off camera. It's fine. So, but I think if you go that route, man. I think please, let it be yes and amen. Go that way, outdoor, and you're there doing your thing. You don't have to have people standing. People must just sit there and listen to you. I think we'll get a lot from you.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go.
Funeka imali, ne?
There's still a long way to go.
All right, now tell me, as we're closing, say you get to do what I've humbly requested. Who would be your band?
Sia would definitely be my producer.
Of course.
I'm taking Sia everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, Usabo impressed me.
Sibongile. Yes.
He
impressed me too.
Yeah, and that side of him I didn't know. And so when I worked with him and saw that, it stuck with me till now. So I'd work with him. I'd work with Beck.
Beck. Yes.
For me, that's
guy's
a natural trio.
That guy's a genius.
I think I would keep the trio, and there's this guy who has a dreadlocks, Pila Dlos. I don't know whether you know him.
What does he do?
So he used to say he would stand, I think, by Randburg Square, and he'd sing. He has a thingamajigger. But he's got an interesting sound. I think it would also work with him in terms of vocals.
Yeah.
I'd have something that I work with. Sis Pogas.
Sporas,
Yes, she'd be someone that I'd work with also. In actual fact, she contributed a lot to the sound that people hear now. Yes.
Really?
Yes, no, greatly.
But hey, man, your tone. But this man has been signaling to me. But Unathi, man, thank you very much for coming. But before you go, I need you to answer this for me. What would you like to see change in the gospel music industry?
That's a very thick question. But all in all, I'd like to see us reflect God more. I'd like to see us reflect God much, much more than we do now. I'm not saying that we don't, but there are levels to it, or there are dimensions to it. I really would like to see us access other dimensions. And in actual fact, I feel like we are standing, if you have an image of the sea, I think we are standing right at the shore, and we're just being hit by water
By those,
every now and then.
Those tired
waves,
waves.
that just come up and hit you by your foot. I feel like sometimes we're there with our walk with God or with our reflection with God. So I feel like if we would step much, much deeper and literally, pay the price. That's what I mean. If we would pay the price and reflect Christ more, the impact would be amazing. Because it's only music that doesn't ask for permission to enter a person.
Say that again?
It's only music that does not ask for permission to enter a person. That's why you'll stand up with the robot, and then you'll drive past, and that song will stick with you. Music doesn't ask for permission.
So if it's really impactful and it really has God
Imagine
inside,
if it had the Spirit of the Lord and it had the power of God. Imagine what would be, imagine, sir, what would be able to accomplish for the kingdom of God.
You're taking me somewhere else, man. Wow. And I think you've answered me with the last question, but I need you to summarize it nicely. If you were not born, what would we miss out on?
I don't know, because I'm still discovering what God has placed in me.
Ne?
So I really
But
can't.
so, in your discovery,
In what I've discovered, hey man, I really just try and represent God as best as I can. I can't say.
if I had the opportunity to say, I think you're a gift to the world.
Thank
and
you, sir.
Your authentic voice is testament that greater things are to come.
Thank you, sir.
I can't wait to see what the Lord will do in your life, and keep shining, man.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. I think people are sleeping on you. I think when you wait, it's gonna be like black coffee.
All things work together for good.
Ne? When people really wake up, I think you'll be gone. I think you'll be gone. I don't think you are South African bound. I think the world will wanna hear. Hey, man.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
This is now based on the prophetic words that I've heard. So what you're saying is true.
Prophet. Just play. Oh, and before we close, you did a beautiful song on Sia's album, man. It's in Balekele on Sia's album.
Coming out.
I think it's coming out. Yes.
Mm-hmm. There's Bala. There's
No.
but I did vocals for the album.
Yeah, but there's a song you were leading.
Oh, Ilobola.
Yes. That's the one.
I call
That's
that
the
song.
one. Really? Man. And Usia needs to come, man. I'll be talking to him. But hey, Asiko Lapo, but Unathi,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
very much for coming.
Thank you for having me, sir.
And on the Gospel Reality Podcast, our Haminji, we have to give you, we have to honor you. So what I've decided to do is you need to choose one, and you can choose which one. Hey, we get our day today.
Congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
I'll take the black. I like black.
Black, ne?
Even that's why even my album cover is because
It's black, ne?
I like
Yes,
black.
so you don't unlit. My brother, we call
this
that
is nice.
we call that hot and cold.
Guys,
Shushu,
it works.
it works.
Like banda.
Yes.
It works.
You put cold, hot water here, not hot stuff, hot water.
I'm not going to.
And then we've got a sponsor here called Litlo Laga, ne?
Mm-hmm.
It's a shower gel.
Oh, nice.
Mntase igeza nezono le.
I.
Ungayiboni ihle nje i-white. Geza nezono. You'll be like this when you're done. So I think you can take this one. I like this one because the
Thank you so much, sir.
this dispenser.
Yeah.
Sebenza kakuhle. So thank you very much. This
Thank
is a
you.
token of us saying thank you. Thank you for taking your time.
Ke a leboha.
Because we know that you're going places, my man. Ne?
Thank
and I
you.
hope we have this discussion in 5 years' time. And dude, not that I said it, but I think you can see it. But you like, dude, you saw it, and I'm saying to you, my man, you going places. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep writing beautiful music, and yeah, just be yourself, man.
Thank you, sir.
I think you're a great guy.
Thank you so
You're
much.
kind of guy that I go fishing. I can sit in fishing, and we can talk, and we can disagree, and we'll still be fine.
Hey, I'm not always singing, so I need to have a heart that reflects God.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first from Mr. Unathi Mzekeli. Mzekeli means example, ne? Mzekelo. Anyway, we're not there. Mr. Unathi Mzekeli, he graced us on the Gospel Reality Podcast. But other than that, Akhoto Ibe Lilo.